Happy Halloween! I'm Ron McClellan.
And I'm Kevin Powers
This is Conversations.
in horror, and we are talking about Halloween horror films this week.
Halloween horror films. We love them. And there's a lot to talk about. People think, well, there's not many movies about Halloween, but au contraire, mon ami, there are a lot of movies about Halloween. Not necessarily good movies, but there are a lot of movies about Halloween.
Yeah, or at least take place during Halloween or have Halloween in them in some form or fashion.
So we'll start off with the ones that first come to mind. And, of course, we might as well get it out of the way. The number one movie everyone thinks about at Halloween, which is Halloween.
John Carpenter's version, not the Rob Zombie one.
Yeah, exactly. 1978 original by John Carpenter and Deborah Hill, producing, directing, being awesome in 1978, giving us the infamous Michael Myers.
Well, I will
See
say,
him grow throughout, 8, 9, 10, 11, is 11 or 12 movies now? Counting the Rob Zombie movies, I think 12 movies.
who can keep track in this day and age?
Right. Yes, Resurrection was the last non-Rob Zombie one in the franchise, so so it's been 10. They're coming up on 11. Halloween Returns, which the jury's still out on that because I know nothing about it.
I will say this though, with Halloween, the whole franchise, at least up till number 5, I grew up watching like every Halloween season back to back. It's been Halloween night just watching those movies over and over and over again.
Oh yeah, it's the mainstay, and you don't want to watch them on DVD. You actually want to watch them on television when they air it. It's just there's something about watching it on television. I don't know why, because they're the television versions and they're horrible. But I've got a version called Hell and Horror in Haddonfield, which is a fan-made version where they actually link Halloween 1 and 2 directly together. At the one begins where the other one ends, and it's about a 3-hour movie. But they did a really good job. They really did do a great job, and it blended together perfect. They even, because there's such a drastic difference in the music between the two movies, they did a good job of slowly ascending into that Halloween 2 music from the Halloween 1 music. So instead of it just being a bam, we go right into the Halloween 2 music, it slowly kind of transgresses into the Alan Howarth and John Carpenter more techno sounding, Halloween 2, electronic Halloween 2 music.
Well, at least we know that, we're not the only ones who think the whole Halloween franchise as a whole is probably like a mainstay for all of us. But we'll get to some of the other amazing Halloween films as well.
Yes. And, of course, there's the film I did, All Hallows Evil, back in 2012. And that's a Halloween film, of course. And then there's Trick or Treat. That's another one everybody thinks of.
Trick or Treat is probably one of the more famous and popular ones right now because of the whole anthology thing and the fact that Little Sam is like everywhere in terms of marketing and everything like that.
Yeah, he's basically the what do you call it?
Mascot?
The mascot. No, I don't know. No, I'm talking about the incarnation. Thank you, the incarnation of Sam Hain, and he's this little kid with a sack for a head, like a little scarecrow kid with footy pajamas and a burlap sack head, and he's creepy and cool all at the same time.
So if any of you out there have, for some reason, been hiding under a rock and not seen this film, please go out there and watch it. You will not be disappointed.
Yeah, there's a lot of up-and-coming artists or actors in it, too. So it's a good watch. And the director,
Michael Dodry,
just finished his latest movie, Krampus, which comes out Christmas Day. And now I hear they're going to start work on Trick or Treat 2 for next year. So we'll see how that comes along. Mm-hmm. All right, next up, we're going to talk about one of my favorite Halloween movies.
Night of the Demons, the original, is an awesome movie.
It takes place on Halloween.
It does, and I haven't seen it in a while, surprisingly. I saw the remake when that came out, but I have not seen the original.
It's surprisingly good. The remake is actually I like it.
Yeah, I enjoyed the remake as well, but it actually makes me want to go out and watch the originals because I have not seen the original two, in a long time.
It's been a long time since I've seen Night of the Demons. But another one from about the same time period, which had our exorcist girl Linda Blair in it, was Hell Night. That also took place on Halloween, at a Halloween party in this old creepy mansion where demons showed up and started wreaking havoc on the party. on Halloween.
Well, that's a little guilty pleasure of mine because I was in love with Linda Blair back in those days. So I've probably seen that movie a little more than I probably have. I can't tell you if it's a great movie or not, but watching Linda Blair in that movie is just like watching her in any of her other movies back in that day. It's just awesome watching her, perform.
And if you like movies about the Headless Horseman, of course, there's Johnny Depp's
Tim
Burton's Sleepy Hollow. Mm-hmm. And then there's another version, which is a little on the lighter side, that stars Kevin Zegers, and it is called The Hollow.
Which I have not seen, so I'm not sure about that one. I will leave Ron to that one.
It's a good movie, but you got to take it for what it is. It's not Sleepy Hollow. The Hollow is aimed towards more of a young adult audience, but at the same time, it's got really good production value, and the Headless Horseman looks pretty decent, and it's got Stacy Keach acting crazy in it. So
okay.
You gotta love that.
I'll put that one on my list because I haven't seen that.
Put it on your list because you haven't seen it. I saw one the other night. This is a new movie, guy. Brand new movie, just came out. I saw it on demand, in the early release on demand, and it's called Hellions, and it's kind of a cross between. Because you haven't seen it, have you, Kevin?
I have not seen it yet. No.
It's kind of It's got a little bit of The Strangers. And then it's got a little bit of The Shining and a little bit of Scream. So it's kind of a little bit of everything. And it takes place on Halloween. Basically, a young girl in a angel dress is waiting for her boyfriend to come pick her up to take her to a Halloween party. And while she's waiting, these creepy kids, imagine the old photos of the kids back in the 30s that you see with the Halloween costumes that are handmade, the primitive costumes. They're really creepy looking. People go, oh, those are creepy. Well, that's kind of what they went for in the costumes for these numerous kids that, just ransack her house and torment and torture her to death. She just goes crazy. And then there's this moment in the film where everything goes all psychedelic, avant-garde, where you don't know what the hell is going on, and zip, we're right back to where everything left off. And I'm not going to tell the end of the movie, but
okay, please don't,
because it's a new movie and it's really worth the watch. I'm kind of skeptical sometimes. It was an IFC movie, and I'm kind of skeptical sometimes of the indie films because they're hit and miss. But this one was actually really good. I liked it a lot. As far as indie films, there's another one called All Hallows Eve. I'm not a fan, sorry. And they made a part 2, which probably won't be a fan of that one either because
it was hard getting to that first one. I know we saw it when it first came out, and but it's a Halloween themed film, so we were like everyone else just waiting to see it, and we couldn't wait. And the day it came out on video on demand, we kind of watched it and were a little bit disappointed, to say the least.
Yeah, much like Boo. I was drawn in by Boo's cover because it has such a really good cover, and it was really dark and spooky, and made me, this is a Halloween movie called Boo. I got to watch it. Bad movie, horrible.
I thought it was a little bit atmospheric. I wasn't like a huge fan of it, but I didn't think it was horrible. I just was one of those films that you want something more, and you were expecting more, but you got a lot less.
Yeah, we got a list of all these Halloween movies that we've gotten here, and Dark Knight of the Scarecrow.
I love that one.
Catches my eye. It's got Charles Durning. If you don't know who he is, he was in an old show called Evening Shade, and he's been on everything from he played the governor in what's the movie with George Clooney and Brother Where Art Thou? He was the governor in Brother Where Art Thou? And then of course it's got our buddy from Darkman
and Dr. Giggles, which is Larry Drake.
He actually plays the Scarecrow.
Yep.
And he's a mentally retarded guy, and Charles Durning is this really weird postman, and he accidentally kills this person and blames it on Larry Drake's character.
Yep.
And they start hunting him down, and Larry Drake goes back to his house scared, and there's this little mob of people chase him, and he dresses up like a scarecrow and hangs in the cornfield, and they can't find him, and they finally do, and they kill him on the cross up there where he's hanging. Well, then the next Halloween rolls around, and everybody that had a hand in it, of course, what happens? They all start dying.
It's a very atmospheric movie, and actually, it's one of the better made-for-TV movies out there, especially considering that it's a horror film, which we all know back in those days that the television horror films were pretty bad.
Yeah. I didn't know it. I didn't even know it was it's so good. I didn't know it was a made-for-television movie, because most of those have this kind of feel about them where you know, oh, that's a damn made-for-television movie. But this one doesn't have that feel at all. You know, it's really well made, and it's cool, and it's old. It's been around a while. Now, let's see, what year did that come out, Kevin? Do you remember?
I do not, but I do remember watching it when it came out on television.
Let's go to our guy over here and see what year this movie came out. It's Dark Knight of the Scarecrow, and it came out in 1981. My God.
Yep.
That came out the same year Halloween 2 came out. So yeah, that is real old. All right, well, back to more Halloween movies, and I do want to touch on one thing. Like I said before, there's a lot of Halloween movies out there. So don't not watch them just because they're indie horror films, because there's a lot of good indie Halloween horror films. A lot of bad, a lot of good. Halloween Night, bad. Don't get it. Don't even try. Halloween's End, stay away from it. Run. That movie will waste your money if you're paying money to watch it. Haunted Hayride. I saw that movie. It's about as bad as it gets, but it's supposed to be that way. It's supposed to be camp. It's like they meant it to be camp and meant it to be kind of gore house. So if you go into the movie thinking, okay, this is just a camp gore house film, then you'll be fine and it's fun. Otherwise, you're gonna hate it. Otherwise. So, what is your favorite Halloween horror film, Kevin?
Well,
not counting Halloween. That's a cop out. You can't say Halloween. That's everybody's favorite Halloween movie.
Well, there's so many films that have Halloween in it or take place on Halloween. I mean, we're going through our list here, and the remake of House on Haunted Hill, takes place around Halloween, which is also a really good remake.
Well, there's something that I want to watch that I haven't seen, like The House October Built. The House is October Built. That's it.
That's pretty new one. That just came out not too long ago.
Last year.
If you haven't seen it, you can get it on Netflix. It's on my Netflix queue, but I haven't watched it yet. I'm a bad horror film.
The other one I want to see is In the Dark.
Not familiar with that one.
2004, and I've been meaning to see it forever, and I've never seen it. And there's one more that I really want to see, and I'm trying to think of the name of it. I saw it on our list earlier. Another good one, but it's real old, 76, is The Little Girl Who Lived Down the Lane, Jodie Foster.
That was an excellent movie.
Yes, it's not all about Halloween. Part of it takes place on Halloween, but it's still a great movie.
Yes.
And if you've never seen it, you certainly should see it because Jodie Foster does a great job.
Oh, another one I can think of is Murder Party. I'm pretty sure you haven't seen it yet, Ron.
No,
but
I haven't.
It is such a big satire film that takes place on Halloween, about a guy who just makes the worst Halloween costume known to mankind, who goes to the wrong party, and it's almost like a torture movie, but it's hilarious. If you've not seen Murder Party, I would suggest that one. That's a really, really good one.
Going back to what I've said about indie horror films, there are some great ones out there. My personal favorite, I mean, if you get right down to it, Trick or Treat's an indie film. It really is. It's not a big budget film. It got bought by a company, but it wasn't made by a big budget company. But my favorite reel-to-reel, true-life indie film, the only star in it is Amanda Plummer, and it's Satan's Little Helper. And it came out 2004. It's about this little kid who hooks up with this serial killer on Halloween who is dressed as kind of the devil. And the little kid thinks he is the devil and thinks he's going to be his little helper. And it's just, the whole movie is funny and scary, and it's just a mix of just a real cool Halloween movie.
I agree. It's a really good
on
movie.
My watch list for every Halloween.
Okay.
When Halloween comes, when you get back from haunting or whatever it is, you go out and do. What do you like to sit down and just kick back and watch? I mean, of course, we watch Halloween.
Well, I actually haven't seen Halloween in years. Not since when I was a kid. Like I told you before, I watched them all every year for like maybe 6 or 7 straight years. I've kind of been Halloweened out, so I actually don't watch that very often. Unfortunately, I don't watch many Halloween movies during Halloween anymore. Trick or Treat's probably the one I have been doing lately. because I've just been watching it once a year. But normally it'll be whatever is currently out. Like you saw Hellion, I'll probably watch Hellion because I haven't seen that one. And there's tons of horror movies coming out soon that I still have to see at the theater and on video. There's always horror films that get released on Halloween, on video on demand or on Netflix or Hulu or what have you. There's always new Halloween films being released. That being said, I mean, there's lots of horror films in general just being released. I mean, you don't have to actually watch Halloween movies on Halloween. No. But, you know, you can watch whatever you want to. I mean, we're horror fans. We can watch whatever we want to on Halloween. Halloween just gives us an excuse to watch horror films every day.
That's right. All day long, all night long. Who cares?
I will say that there are a couple funny Halloween movies that you can always add to your list. One of which is like Hocus Pocus, which is hilarious. It's not horrifying in the slightest bit, but it is funny. It's probably the only movie I could sit through with Bette Midler in it.
Idle Hands.
Idle Hands. That's actually hilarious. I love that movie.
Yep, it's got the guy from
Devon Sawa.
Yep, Devon Sawa from the
Final Destination.
Final Destination movies. Thank you.
Yes, I agree. That's another great one. What else is another funny one?
Funny Halloween. Ernest Saves Halloween.
Oh yes. Ernest Scared Stupid. That's
what it is. Ernest Scared Stupid.
Another funny Halloween film that we can all watch and enjoy. It's probably one of the more enjoyable ones of the Ernest series.
That's sort of funny is Nightmare Before Christmas.
Nightmare Before Christmas. That's the movie we saw in 3D when they re-released it.
And that was awesome, by the way.
It is. I wish I had a 3D TV. That would be one of the first movies I'd buy.
It was very awesome in 3D. I guess my picks that I would sit down and watch on Halloween, and I try not to watch them during the year. I try to reserve them for Halloween, like Satan's Little Helper and Halloween 4. Halloween 4 is my favorite of the Halloween sequels. So I'll watch Halloween 4 and I'll watch Satan's Little Helper, and then Trick or Treat, and then sometimes I'll watch the one from the 70s called Trick or Treats. Now, Trick or Treats just has been re-released, and it's quite expensive to buy. Kevin, can you read that and tell me what year it says? Because it's old. I can't see as well as I used to. It should be 70-something or early 80s, one of the two. It's probably early 80s, probably like 81 or 82. I can look it up real quick.
I think it's the late 70s.
But it is a nothing but. I'm sorry, I was wrong. It's 82. Yes, 82 is it. But it's just been re-released, but it's stupid money on Blu-ray, and it's kind of stupid money on regular DVD. So I'm kind of waiting for them to come down. So I have a copy of it. But it's a good campy movie, but it's well made. It's like Boogeyman. Boogeyman I'll watch sometime on Halloween. Boogeyman's a real unknown film. It's all about a mirror.
You're talking about the
original,
Lamel?
Yeah, Huey Lamel's Boogeyman. It's about this mirror.
Not the recent one.
No. The original one. But it all has to do with a mirror and a guy witnessing a murder in a mirror and something. Blah, 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 blah. But it's really good. So you can watch Boogeyman. Boogeyman 2 is okay, but Boogeyman, the first one, is good. So I'll watch that, Trick or Treat, Halloween 4, and Satan's Little Helper on Halloween. That's kind of my Halloween lineup.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah, and maybe I should create myself a new Halloween lineup. But I will say that this Halloween, they are re-releasing Halloween, John Carpenter's Halloween at the theaters, and I will be going to go see that.
Yes, I'll be with you.
On October 29th. I know it's a plug for the movie, but who cares? We're Halloween fans and horror fans, so I'm going to go see it on the 29th.
It's a Fathom event, I believe, and we're going to go see that.
I'm also going to go see the original Dracula when that comes out. Fathom Events is kicking it out this year. Yep. The original Dracula, black and white silent one. I'm going to go see that as well. So this Halloween will be very interesting at the theater.
The last time I saw Halloween at a theater was in 1979 at the Lanier Drive-In here in our hometown. So that's a long damn time ago. And I actually saw it in a theater setting and not at my house. And it scared the hell out of me. That was the first time I'd ever seen it. And they showed Night of the Living Dead right after it. And I stayed for that, which I could not stay for that. But it was kind of disconcerting because coming out right out of Halloween, because Halloween's real atmospheric and creepy, and I was in an old pickup truck by myself watching that movie on a Thursday night at the drive-in, and there was probably 8 cars there. So, it wasn't like there was a lot of people around to, now the Living Dead's coming on. Do I stay or do I go? Oh, hell no, I'm staying. Okay. It's Now the Living Dead. I'm damn staying. Well, alrighty. Well, that's going to put a cap on this episode of Conversations in Horror, our Halloween episode. I'm Ron McClellan.
And I'm Kevin L. Powers.
This is Conversations
in Horror.
Bye-bye. Happy Halloween.
Conversation in Horror is produced by Ron McClellan and Kevin L. Powers. The views of this program are not the views of Broken Lighthouse Pictures. Conversation in Horror is copyright 2015 Broken Lighthouse Pictures. All rights reserved.